enough along to vote on this tonight, but I think maybe we ought to have a clean copy with all the stuff we've talked about before we discuss this further. You had something to say quickly, sir?
Very quickly, there's one thing I think you may have overlooked on page 10. You've taken this language directly from the Denmark ordinance. The language says at least 25% of the monitoring location shall be a private well located within the zone of contribution. There are no private wells located within the zone of contribution, at least with regard.
What section are you in?
I'm in section.
The page numbers don't.
I'm sorry, excuse me. G1F. Starts the establishment of an ongoing follow-up monitoring system. It's before Leah's comment, which is a note you may wish to make. Paragraph before that.
Doesn't that assume they're going to have to drill a well?
Well, it says private. I think we need to delete the word private.
Well, we're going to have test wells to determine what the aquifer level is in that area, wouldn't we?
There'll be all sorts of monitoring there.
Right.
There are no private wells located within the zone of contribution. That's all I'm saying. There just aren't. Maybe there are in other circumstances.
Yeah, we don't know what the zone, which zone of contribution you're talking about.
I think your problem is just if we lined out the word private, you'd be okay. Is that your deal?
Are there any wells within the zone of contribution?
You have to account for the fact that there may be no wells in that zone.
There may be no.
There may be. So
to the extent, I mean, you could put in to the extent practicable, to the extent available, some language like that. But I'm just saying that if you have that language and there aren't any, then what do you do?
Is this a public comment section?
No, it's not. Well, the suggestion's been made that we don't like, he doesn't like that section. I'm not sure I see the problem.
Leah, do you understand what's going on here?
Well, I'm looking, it says at least 25% of the monitoring locations shall be at, whether they're private or not, wells located within the zone of contribution. If there aren't private wells located, if there aren't wells located in the zone of contribution, am I hearing that the pleasure of the board is that they'd be drilled, and so
Well,
they can be monitored?
If they don't exist, then they need to be, I guess.
Well, if there's no wells,
If there's no house
at that location, there's no usage impact
Right.
at that
There are 3
location.
wells in that area, right? If they're up here. But I don't know where they're going to extract water. So,
But I see the point that you could have a site that you can't get 25% of the monitoring locations that are private wells. Is the point. But the point is then, do they need to drill monitoring wells then?
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
But we've required them to have 25% of them be private wells. And is that a mistake? You see what I'm saying? I don't think anybody's arguing that we've got to do the monitoring wells, but if there's no private wells in the area, we don't want them to go build houses to create some private wells to be able to monitor them.
Well, you know, you don't need a house there to drill a well.
But you have no usage if you don't have a house,
So
so
the usage of it is, what do we mean by private wells?
that's,
Wells on other lots? What does it mean?